This video is to explain the processes we took in creating our student film Oliver Jackson and how easy it can be for anybody who's interested in filmmaking. I've also linked drafts of Oliver Jackson in the description, so please watch those first before you watch this video so you know what I'm talking about. Oliver Jackson was a very interesting piece to put together. It took a lot of time and consideration. We knew we wanted to explore very specific themes within it, you know, about gender and relationships and all that sort of thing, to really target a younger audience within our piece. We very quickly realised we weren't looking at something with very mainstream elements within it, so we started by researching different elements of more indie texts and how they portray specific things that we wanted to convey in our own work. If you really enjoyed watching our film Oliver Jackson, then I recommend watching Perks of Being a Wallflower or Donnie Darko if you're into something a little bit darker, because they were both very influential films to us, specifically in the way that our main character was portrayed and how he acted in certain situations. We first came up with the idea of Oliver Jackson by looking at a few themes and thinking about the kind of story we wanted to tell and the way it would link to an audience of teens and young adults. We knew that it had to be relatable to the audience to really get the same kind of messages across and have the same kind of feeling and atmosphere. To do this, we used actors of very similar ages to the target audience we were going for, so it was a lot easier for the audience to relate to them and, you know, share the same emotions that our characters are portraying. Since we are young people ourselves, it was very easy to figure out what exactly would be relatable within our piece, so, you know, we tailored the story around what we would want. Once we had decided on the themes we wanted to focus on, we started brainstorming in our group, thinking about what kind of story we wanted to tell exactly. To begin with, we didn't have the same idea on what story we wanted to tell, but eventually we did settle on Oliver Jackson and started to build up the story and get all of the details that we wanted in there. We wrote up a detailed plot synopsis for a 30-minute short film and decided on a small section of that to make into a 3 to 4 minute video, which we looked at very closely and in depth so we could get all of the content we wanted in there, still showing Oliver's story without making it into a very long production. We started discussing camera work and lighting, and all of this went into a storyboard which we could later refer to when we started filming, so we could get the exact camera works that we were talking about that would convey our messages across perfectly. The casting for our film actually changed, as you can see from our drafting videos. We made the decision to change the lead of Oliver from a male to a female so we could play with the aspect of gender without fully addressing it, you know, as if it doesn't really matter. I feel the best way to portray race or sexuality, gender in, you know, a media piece is to have it there but not really fully address it, you know, have the diversity of all of these things but not, you know, talk about it heavily, because then you kind of bring in an element of it's a really important thing when really it's not, you know, it's just somebody's gender or sexuality or race. Doesn't matter really. The rest of the filming was pretty straightforward. We filmed the daytime shots first, thinking about the exact camera angles we wanted to use and the exact movements we wanted our characters to have, you know, always referring back to our storyboard so we could get a very clear indication of what we were going for. We came back the same evening to film the nighttime shots, so we really had to think about where we were positioning the lighting, which took you know, a lot of playing around so we could really see what it would look like, really get the best out of it. It did take a lot of trial and error to get all of the lighting as we wanted it, but in the end I think it turned out quite well. We then started the editing process. We uploaded all of our work onto Final Cut Pro, ordered it all and started cutting it all up, making it all flow well, added music, added transitions between some of the shots, edited the more like romantic thoughts of Oliver to have a pink filter over the top so you could really get the strong message across. Editing takes a very long time. It's probably the most time-consuming process of making a film. Make sure you are comfortable using the editing software you are using, because otherwise it does take even longer, obviously. The editing process for us did take quite a long time to make sure everything flowed perfectly, you know, there wasn't a second that was out of place, there wasn't a piece of music that didn't fit. You know, all of these things can really contribute to how your final piece will come across. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it gives you some insight into what goes into making a short film like Oliver Jackson. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact me, put them in the comments below or message me on my blog and I'll do my best to answer them.